So I really thought, right, maybe this is it. I'm not going to do it. But I drove back home tragically. And then I started sending tapes around again. Ended up getting another job in local news. And then
Savannah Guthrie, the trusted voice who has greeted millions of Americans every morning for over a decade on NBC's Today Show, has interviewed presidents, covered royal weddings, and moderated presidential debates that shaped American history. At 54, this Emmy Award-winning journalist has become one of the most recognized faces in American broadcasting, earning an estimated $8 million annually and co-anchoring the nation's most watched morning program. But what viewers see at 7 a.m. Eastern, the bright smile, the effortless chemistry with Hoda Kotb, the poised interviews with world leaders, masks a journey marked not by smooth ascension, but by devastating physical trauma, a shocking on-air accident in November 2019 that nearly cost her the vision in her right eye forever, a heartbreaking series of surgeries that left her wondering if she'd ever read a teleprompter again. The tragic realization that her two young children might never see their mother's face clearly if the damage proved permanent, and the hidden struggle of anchoring America's morning while secretly battling double vision, depth perception loss, and chronic pain that no amount of makeup could hide. This is not the story NBC advertises in promos. This is not the narrative behind the glossy magazine covers and White House correspondence dinner appearances. This is the brutal truth of a woman who lost her vision on a Wednesday afternoon and had to decide whether to tell millions of viewers or suffer in silence. But behind the professional composure lies a story not glamorous, but brutal, a testament to what it costs to smile through physical agony when the cameras never stop rolling. If Savannah Guthrie has ever made you feel informed and hopeful at the start of your day, hit like as tribute to her relentless courage. This is the story of a woman from Arizona who climbed from local news to the pinnacle of broadcast journalism, who suffered a freak accident that threatened everything she'd built, who underwent multiple eye surgeries while anchoring a live show watched by 4 million people daily, and who taught the world that strength isn't hiding your scars, it's showing up with them. December 27, 1971, Melbourne, Australia. Though only briefly, Savannah Clark Guthrie was born to Nancy and Charles Guthrie, an American couple temporarily abroad. Within 2 years, the family returned to the United States, settling in Tucson, Arizona. The beginning was not glamorous, but marked by quiet instability. Charles Guthrie worked in the mining industry, but struggled with alcoholism that cast shadows over the household. Nancy, a tireless optimist, worked multiple jobs to keep the family afloat. Young Savannah learned early that appearance mattered, that projecting confidence could mask internal chaos. She excelled in school, driven not by natural ease but by fear of falling behind. Amphitheater High School in Tucson became her proving ground. She joined the debate team, learning to control her voice, her posture, her message. Words became weapons against uncertainty. By 17, she knew her path, journalism, not because she loved the spotlight, but because she craved control over narrative. She graduated from the University of Arizona in 1993 with a degree in journalism, then made a decision that baffled her peers. She enrolled in Georgetown University Law Center, Tucson to Washington, D.C. At 21 years old, she worked full-time as a journalist while attending law school at night. Sleep became optional. Coffee became essential. She earned her Juris Doctor in 2002. Having spent nearly a decade balancing courtrooms and newsrooms, most choose one. Savannah refused to choose at all. 1995. Savannah Guthrie, 23, landed her first real journalism job at ABC affiliate KMIZ in Columbia, Missouri. Annual salary, approximately $22,000. She covered city council meetings, local crime, and agricultural reports. The work was unglamorous and exhausting, but it was hers. 2 years later, she moved to KVOA in Tucson, returning home as a general assignment reporter, still local, still grinding, still invisible to the networks. Then came 2000. At 28, Court TV later Trotv hired her as a national correspondent. Her legal background finally mattered. She covered high-profile trials, Michael Jackson, Martha Stewart, and countless others. Her ability to translate complex legal jargon into accessible television caught the attention of executives. By 2004, she was earning approximately $150,000 annually, more money than her parents had made combined. NBC News was watching. 2007. Savannah, now 35, joined NBC as a legal analyst and correspondent. She covered the Supreme Court, the White House, and breaking legal stories. Her annual salary jumped to around $300,000. Then came 2011. NBC needed a co-host for the third hour of Today alongside Natalie Morales and LROKER. Savannah was offered the slot. Salary increase, $750,000 annually. She was finally on national television every single morning. But the real breakthrough came suddenly. June 2012. Curry, co-anchor of Today, was removed in a highly publicized and emotionally charged departure. The show needed a replacement. NBC chose Savannah Guthrie. At 40 years old, she became co-anchor of America's #1 morning show alongside Matt Lauer. Her salary jumped to approximately $2 million per year. The scrutiny was immediate and brutal. Too young, too serious, not warm enough. Critics compared her to Curry, to Katie Couric, to every woman who'd held the chair before. She was accused of orchestrating Curry's departure, a rumor she vehemently denied. The world saw an opportunity. Savannah felt like she was drowning on live television. By 2017, after Matt Lauer's termination following sexual misconduct allegations, Savannah became the stabilizing force of Today. Her salary increased to approximately $7 million, eventually reaching $8 million by 2020. She had survived the chaos. She had proven herself. Then, on an ordinary Wednesday, everything changed. November 27, 2019, Savannah Guthrie, 47, was at home in her Manhattan apartment during a break between shows. Her son, Charles Charlie Max Feldman, 2 years old, was playing on the floor. They were tossing a toy train back and forth, a simple game. Innocent and joyful. Charlie threw the metal train. His aim was off. The train struck Savannah directly in her right eye. Immediate, blinding pain. Vision went dark instantly. She stumbled to the bathroom, blood trickling down her face. Her husband, Michael Feldman, a Democratic political consultant, rushed her to the emergency room at New York Presbyterian Hospital. The diagnosis was devastating: torn retina. The impact had ripped the delicate tissue at the back of her eye. Without immediate surgery, she could lose vision permanently. She was scheduled for emergency surgery the next morning. Savannah was 47 years old, at the peak of her career, and couldn't see out of her right eye. The surgery was successful, barely, but complications emerged within weeks. The retina wasn't healing properly. She developed a macular pucker, scar, tissue that distorted her central vision. A second surgery was required in January 2020, then a third in March 2020, just as COVID-19 shut down New York City. For months, Savannah wore an eye patch off camera. Her depth perception was destroyed. Reading the teleprompter became guesswork. She couldn't judge distances, couldn't drive, couldn't look at her children without seeing double images. What few people know is that she considered stepping down from Today. Not because of vanity, but because she genuinely didn't know if she could do the job anymore. NBC offered her medical leave. She refused. "If I stop now," she told Michael, "I'll never come back." She anchored Today every morning with an eye that barely functioned. Makeup artists worked overtime to hide the swelling, the redness, the chronic irritation. She memorized camera positions so she wouldn't misjudge distances. She practiced reading with one eye closed. Viewers noticed nothing, but Savannah lived in constant fear that her vision would fail. Mid-broadcast. It is heartbreaking when the tool you need most becomes your greatest vulnerability. By mid-2020, her vision had stabilized at approximately 60% functionality in her right eye. Not perfect, not even close, but functional enough to continue. She still sees double. Occasionally. She still struggles with bright studio lights. She still visits her ophthalmologist every 3 months for Monitoring. The world saw resilience. Savannah knew it was survival. Then came another blow. 2020 through 2021. The COVID-19 pandemic forced Today to broadcast remotely. Savannah anchored from her basement in Manhattan, balancing motherhood and journalism in 12-hour days. Her daughter, Savannah Guthrie Feldman, born August 13, 2014, was 6. Her son Charlie, born December 8, 2016, was 4. Both were home all day, every day. Savannah became a teacher, a cook, a mother, and America's morning anchor simultaneously. She slept for hours a night. Her vision issues worsened under the strain of screen time and exhaustion. She later admitted, "I cried in the bathroom between segments more times than I can count." But she never missed a show. Not once. Then, in September 2022, Hoda Kotb announced she'd be leaving Today in early 2025. Savannah's co-anchor and closest professional ally would be gone. The transition is still unfolding. The future of Today remains uncertain. But Savannah has committed to staying through the change. 20 to 5. Savannah Guthrie, 54, still wakes up at 3:30 a.m. 5 days a week. She co-anchors Today from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Center. Though the show continues to evolve. Her current annual salary remains approximately $8 million. Her net worth is estimated at $30 million. She lives in Tribeca with Michael and their 2 children, Vale, now 10, and Charlie, 8. Her right eye has stabilized, though she requires prescription glasses for reading and experiences chronic dryness that requires medicated drops every few hours. She's written 2 children's books, Princesses Wear Pants and Princesses Save the World, teaching her daughter that strength matters more than appearance. She's moderated to presidential debates, interviewed President Joe Biden multiple times, and covered 3 Olympic Games. But her proudest moments remain private. Saturday mornings making pancakes. Reading bedtime stories to Vale and Charlie, seeing their faces clearly, even if one eye still struggles. She recently told People magazine, "I spent years taking my vision for granted. Now I'm grateful every single morning I can see my children's faces." She still thinks about November 27, 2019, still flinches when her kids throw toys, still checks her vision every morning, covering one eye, then the other, still terrified it could happen again. At 54, Savannah Guthrie stands as proof that showing up is the most radical act of courage. From Tucson to Studio 1A, from a freak accident that should have ended her career to anchoring through a pandemic, from torn retina to 3 surgeries to reading teleprompters with 1 fully functional eye. She didn't hide her injury forever. She spoke about it openly, honestly, vulnerably. She showed millions of viewers that physical trauma doesn't disqualify you from excellence. The world saw a morning anchor, but the truth was different. Savannah Guthrie was never just reading the news. She was proving that courage isn't perfect vision, it's showing up even when everything is blurry. If this story touched your heart, leave a tribute below. Share a moment when Savannah Guthrie's steadiness reminded you that resilience still exists, even when you can barely see the path ahead.